Hello everyone, hope y'all are doing well. Sorry I ain't posted in a while, been involved in other projects and been working on this, making the molds. So let's get started. Where I left off on part 33 is making this mold, but this is the back part of the mold and I'm going to give it a little bit more room back here for the back of the sculpture. So I'm going to add like maybe 4 millimeters thickness here and I'm going to extrude this away to where I can just open this up some. But this is part of the design just to make sure I have enough for the silicone pour to pour in there, and it's just to give it enough room. And I'd rather have a larger mold than not enough, and that's just to be on the safe side. But as you see here, I extruded it away, and now I'm going to add the inside piece to this mold, and it's going to be a thickness close to uh, probably close to an inch thick here, and maybe a little less. But I'm just trying to get it now. When this is printed, it's going to be heavily infilled because it needs to be able to support. Since this is going to be the mother mold, it needs to be dense enough to support the silicone. And as everyone probably here knows, that silicone is quite heavy. And when I 3D print this, is going to be, once again, it's going to be durable because this is the mother mold and it's going to be strong, and the layer line or the layer thickness is going to be quite thick and a lot of infill. But as you see here, which I'm in Blender now, and I'm manipulating this mesh here to conform closer to the edge of that inner mold edge. And in this part, I'm not going to be able to do an auto bridging but this frame is more like I guess you would say, a hard surface shape in a design of a CAD, and it's kind of hard to get edge loops on this, but doing bridging, you know, manually, even though it might take some time, it really doesn't take that long at all. These two pieces that you're about to see in the video probably took me less than 2 hours to do, and I'll be putting 3 pieces all along. Y'all had seen the first part I did in 33, but this is to finish this up. But once again, when I get the shape in here just like I like it, and I feel like it's even enough, I'll just export it, the mesh itself, as an STL file back into SketchUp. So now we're back in SketchUp. Now I'll just check the mesh, make sure I got it even enough, and sometimes I might remove some of those polys there I just don't want no I guess indention around this. I kind of want this smooth, but yet I still want this to kind of grab the mother mold where it's not just going to fall out. But as you see here, I'm starting to do the bridging and just connecting the vertices and just bridging it all together, which doesn't take long, and it's kind of to me, this is relaxing. I've done it so many times, and just trying to fill in the space, but just trying to keep it, you know, even, and trying to make sure that I have clearances, especially around on the outside. You'll see later when I'm going around the where I place the screws, the bolts that bolt the mold to the core itself, or the sculpture core. That way I'll have clearance for the screw, so it won't, the head of the screw won't bump the edge of it. Now I'll do the exact same thing to the front part of this mold, to where I'll reduce the polish to the inner skin and the outer skin, so it will produce the shell. And then later on, when I print this so-called the shell mold, all this will have a really high infill count, so it will be really strong to hold the silicone mold. But I do the exact same thing as far as doing the bridging and connecting all the vertices to finish out this half of these two molds. Now the next step, all I'm going to do is just get everything prepped, but as you see here, the thickness and all of this will be having the infield here just to give it a lot more strength to be the mother mold of the silicone. Here I'm doing a plain cut, that way I can just divide it exactly in half so I can do a mirror. But and I'll clean out the inside of the inside to remove any polys, to make it watertight as a 3D print. And that way I won't have any errors when I make it an STL file. And here to mirror it, I'll just highlight that component and then reverse it, and then I'll explode both components and they'll automatically join together. And now I'll just repeat the same mirror process on the back, or the yellow piece as you see here, and just do another mirror and then join them together and make sure everything's cleaned out on the inside mesh. That way it'll be a clean STL file. And when I actually mold the creature, I'm going to probably at the flat edge, as you see here, there's no key or groove right there. I will probably mix a small amount of silicone and just like brush it on the flat side, and then I'll join the two pieces together. That way I will create my own gasket, and I'll just let that part just set up, and then I'll do the molding as far as doing the pour. Now I'm just designing the pour hole and the vent hole in the highest point of this mother mold, and this is where I'll pour the silicone, and I'll have a vent also so it will pour more freely. But once again, it's at the highest point, because when I pour this, this part's going to be laying down. And once again, it's at the highest part of the mold, and that way all the air will flow upwards when it's laying down. And I also might add some more pegs to each one of these halves here, so it will have some type of table, I guess, legs. That way it will, when it's laying down, it won't be rolling all over the place. But as far as this, the back vent hole and pour hole, I wanted to kind of lay it down, but yet it would be getting in the way of the screw holes there where it will be mounted to the base plate. But what I'll probably do here is on the top vent hole, I'll add a plug. That way it'll be a displacement of the silicone. That way that whole piece there will not be one big solid, plug. But yet more likely, if it's any kind of a plug, it would just be cut away with a scalpel or a razor blade. In SketchUp, when you have a component, it's highlighted as its own object. And if you explode that component and you have two of them that are exploded, they'll join together automatically, but you're risking it being off. But you can intersect the faces as a component, and it'll make the indication line where the other object is. And this is where I can do cleanup, and then all I have to do then is explode the component, and it will join in that area without doing so much cleanup. And overall, these two pieces, and actually there's 3 pieces so far that I'm ready to start printing. And that's the 2 mold pieces as you see here, and the core. And I have one more other piece, and that's the sculpting base core. So, and overall, this is the space I have to work with as far as the flow. I'm putting it more thick in the front because of the detail, but it worked out pretty good. And to work on the sculpting canvas and mounting it to its base plate, And as in the previous video, y'all saw me working on the areas around these eyelids and eyes and the mouth. And I wanted to reduce some of these polys here to kind of get close enough to what the mouth is really, doing here. So I just took a picture of that and matched the original that we've been working with in ZBrush so we can do the bridging to this mouthpiece and also doing the same for the eyes. So I just kind of made a somewhat of an oval circle and then extruded it, and this way I can just remove what little and keep what little shape we need there to do the bridging. But I just, took a screenshot of ZBrush and saved it as a JPEG and imported it into SketchUp and did an X-ray version so I could see through, so I could just basically see this shape, just to get where I could have like a stencil to cut out. That way we can bridge it much more easier than me trying to do it in ZBrush. But when I was in ZBrush, I brought the so-called base plate that's strictly for it, so we won't have to do any heavy-duty cleaning out the inside by keeping the core in there. I'm just doing what we need. But overall, this turned out good. As you see here, this is the original that we've always had, that so we can make this core base plate for the sculpture and keep these blockout areas open for the mold purpose. But you see how much I've taken off the eyes, and you just saw what I did for the mouthpiece here, and all this will be bridged into the sculpture. But once again, I have reduced the polish to the sculpture. Now I'm going to do some fine detailing and clean up and get it all the way to where I want it, so I can import or export it into Blender, and that's really where I'm going to be doing the bridging, because I like their automatic. And once again, the organic bridging is a lot easier than doing it on a simpler shape. It's easier to do. So I'm just going to do that in a Blender. But overall, it's coming along. So we got 3 main pieces ready to print, and this is the final print, so we can start printing soon. So I hope y'all like this video, and thank you for all the subscribers and comments. And once again, I thank y'all for all the support. And I hope y'all like this video. Thanks. Have a good one. Later.